Hello everybody, how are you? I hope you're keeping cool wherever you're at. It's not cool here today. It's pretty hot here in Missouri. Okay, so let me know if you can hear me. This morning when I did a live, my microphone was not working and I don't see it on here, so let me check it. So let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, Kathy? Good. Thank you so much. Yeah, I had a little issue with sound this morning, so I wasn't sure if I was having sound now. So, oh my goodness. Oh gosh. How is everyone? Thank you, Jody. Hello, Dawn. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you're ready to paint some strawberries. Fruit, my favorite subject to paint, but the one I paint the least. Hi, Connie from East Texas. Glad you're joining us. I bet you're hot there. Oh, my goodness. Maybe you're getting ready to have some rain coming in. I don't know. Hi, Melina. Sound is good. Thank you so much. I hope you all were able to head over to my website, lonnalamb.com, and grab your free PDF for this. That has the line drawing, lists the paint colors and the brushes I used, and has a color photograph. I also have the paint colors listed below this video, so you can look down in the description box for those as well. Hi, Jackie. You can hear me. Good. I'm so glad I am being heard, because you never know. You just never know how it's going to work out. I've had more troubles with this program than anything, and it's usually on my end. It's not the program itself, it's on my end. So I can't blame the program. It's clearly just me. So, oh my gosh. Okay, I am going to make myself a small in the corner up here so you can still see me. Hello from the Netherlands. Oh, I'm going to try and pronounce your name, but I apologize if I get it wrong. Tomalat? Thank you for joining me. Connie feels like 105. Ooh. Yeah, I haven't checked the heat index here to see what it what it actually feels like outside. Yesterday was so unbearably hot. So I'm thinking today was supposed to be hotter and tomorrow even hotter. So yeah, I haven't been outside one time today. And I don't plan on it. My studio stays pretty warm. So, you know, I haven't been in here a lot today because this room stays pretty hot. So I'll be working downstairs after I get done with this live and working a little bit cooler. So let me put up my picture of what we're going to be painting. Our delicious strawberries. I'll make that picture a little bit bigger. And then get my palette camera up here so that we can get ready to paint. This is what we're painting now. I painted mine on a 6x6. Hello, Jody. Thank you for joining us. Dale, thank you from Minnesota. Thanks so much. Oh, Tomalat, I pronounced your name right. Okay, good. You never know. You never know. Most people don't pronounce my name right, so, you know, I'm leery to pronounce someone else's name wrong because, you know, that could offend someone, and I wouldn't want to offend you by pronouncing your name the wrong way. Oh, hello, Brenda from Southern Alberta. Thank you so much for joining. So my strawberries here are on a 6x6 canvas. This is a gallery wrapped canvas. I love these little canvases. I usually buy, you know, a couple of packages of them. I think I haven't bought them for a while because I'm trying to use up my stash. I think there's 4 in a package from Michaels, but it's been a while since I bought any, so I'm just trying to use up what I have. I just love these little canvases. I mean, you can just hang them just about anywhere because the size of them. So, a great little canvas to paint on. I'm going to set mine aside over here because I want to show you what paints we have and the brushes. So I didn't use a whole lot of brushes. I do list them in there. I've got a couple of extra ones in here that I don't really need at the moment. So I've got an 8 chisel. This one is not listed in there, but if you don't have that's a 3/8 inch, so I gotta find my 1/4 inch angle brush. A 1/4 inch angle brush would be good, or a 6 or an 8 chisel, 12 flat, a 10 flat, and a 2 or 1 round, whatever you have. So I'm going to be using primary red, my DecoArt Americana acrylics. Hi, Anita. Hi, Jody. Hi, Brenda. We're going to use alizarin crimson, moon yellow, Tuscan red. These are all listed below the video. Leaf green, mistletoe, white, snow white, Hauser dark green. We're using cadmium orange and bright yellow, lamp black, and cool white. Those are the colors I use. Now, I'm almost out of primary red, so I may use Santa red. They're fairly close to the same color. This one's got a little bit more of a blue tint to it, but, you know, just use what you have. Don't feel like you have to do anything special. Red, any red will do. So if you've got a red, that will be perfect. So, and we can darken it with some black. So if you don't have alizarin crimson, not a problem. So don't stress out if you don't have the exact colors that I have. Use exactly what you have. Okay, you'll need a T-square or a ruler, of course your palette paper, your paper towels, your water basin, all that stuff. So I've got mine drawn here on a white 4x6 canvas panel. Now you can already have your surface painted black if you want, and paint right on top of that black, or you can start from white. This actually had something else on it, and I painted over it with a couple of coats of white. So we're going to determine a table line, I guess. So grab a pencil and draw a table line. Let's see, if you're on a 4x6, I brought this up about 2 3/8 inches. And on this one, on the 6x6, I came up about the exact same. Well, no, it's a little over 2.5. Yeah, almost 2 5/8. So just, it doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Just put a line on there anywhere you want to put it. We are going to make that line disappear in the background back here. Okay, we don't want to see a solid line back there, so we're going to create the illusion that it just disappears into the background. Okay, that's a lost edge. We're going to lose that edge. We don't want a sharp edge on there, so we are going to lose it. All right, so we're going to start with some black paint. Let me get it out on my palette here. And we can go ahead and put a little white or cool white. Doesn't matter which one, because we're just going to make a light gray color for the lower part. You'll probably have to put a couple of coats on when you do this. So, you know, we'll base coat in our strawberries. You can come back in and put a second coat on your background if you want to. Or like I did, just paint the whole thing black. If you're going to paint the whole thing black, just grab a artist sponge, a damp artist sponge, or a damp 2-inch foam roller and paint it black. That's the easiest way to do it. You don't have to work with a brush trying to get nice smooth paint. I generally always paint with a 2-inch foam roller. So we're going to put some black in the background. We're going to go around our strawberries. I'm going to go right up to that line for now, but I'm not going to worry too much about how straight my paint is there. I'm going to go right over my leaves. I'll just draw those back in. Of course, you can add them back in. We don't really need them until, you know, we're pretty much done with the strawberries, because they'll be pretty much the last thing that we do. So you don't have to have them on here if you don't want to. So just go around all of your objects here with your black. If you've already got it black, then just sit there and enjoy a little quiet time. I'm using a 12-inch flat to do this on this smaller surface here. If you're doing a bigger surface, which you have my permission to enlarge or reduce my line drawings to any size that you want. But if you're painting larger, then you may want to get a bigger brush. Okay, get enough black here. So one coat looks not too bad. Maybe I won't have to come in and add a second coat on here. Alright, so I'm going to go straight into my white here and make a gray. I don't want it to be really dark, a medium to dark gray, because we'll be adding some dark around our strawberries to create a shadow. So we don't want our gray to be so dark that we can't see that shadow. I'll wipe a little bit of that off. I got a lot of black paint in my brush. And then we're just going to come in here and start adding our gray color. I'm going to pick up a little more white, make the tabletop a little bit varied in color, gives it a little bit more interest, a little bit more texture. So it doesn't have to be all the same solid color of gray, if that makes any sense. So I'm just picking up a little more white. And just kind of brushing it in there loosely. Alright, I'm going to corner load into some black here. And let me move my palette over a little bit, because I want to start creating my lost edge back here. So I'm going to take that black edge up into that black and kind of blend it out a little bit and help make that disappear. We'll do the same thing over here. And just help it to kind of just disappear into the background. And then while I have this darker black underneath on my brush, I need to get some water on my palette. I put my paper towel on here because my camera seems to keep wanting to focus. So let's see if I can move it out, if it will stay focused now that I have paint on there. I need a little bit of water so that I can move this paint a little bit. Still need water. And we're just going to put a little of this around our strawberries here. This is where our shadow areas will be. So we can go ahead and start developing them right now while we're putting on this gray color. And as we, when we get done, we'll come back and, I don't want that way up there. We'll come back and refine this a little bit. So this is just getting us started in that direction of creating some shadows. Okay, just kind of blend it all out to where it looks, you know, like a nice tabletop. Doesn't have to be anything spectacular. All right, we're going to start on our strawberries now. I'm going to keep this same brush because I'm painting in a larger area here. So I'm going to mix some moon yellow. Oh, as I fling it everywhere. Goodness gracious. Can't get it to come out, then I throw it everywhere. And some primary red. See, that's almost empty, so I probably will have to switch over to Santa red. So I'm just going to mix these two to get this soft kind of red, peachy type of muted color. And I'm going to put this color on my strawberries. This is all undercoating to get us where we need to go. And I'm just, oh, got red paint down there. Must have it all over my hands. Of course I do. Let me see if I got some gray paint. I can buff that out. This is just going to get us started. An undercoat of, and I'm just going to go right over my area where I had my leaves, because I will add those in at the end. And I need some water. It's so hot today. I have my ceiling fan on, and of course everything is drying like so fast. Mix a little bit more. I don't care if my colors are not the same mix here. I mean, I'm using the same two colors, so it will all work out in the end. I'm not going to worry if one's a little bit darker, one's a little bit lighter. And I tried to write myself down some instructions this time, how I painted my original one. So hopefully it will look like the original one. I don't want to see any of the white areas, so if you're still seeing some white areas, scoot that paint over, cover up those white areas. Now this one here, we're just going to do the edges of this. I'm going to try and do it with this great big ginormous brush, but you can go to a smaller brush if you would like. And we're just going to come down this side of the strawberry. I want a little bit of this at the top. Yep, I'm going to have to go to a smaller one. That one's going to just, man, I got red paint all over that brush. It's going to just be too big for that area. So I'm just going to go down to my 8. That way I can get a little bit smaller area here, because I just want a little bit of it across the top. Little bit coming down this edge, but the majority of it's going to be over here on this side. It's going to be the part that's seen, or seeing the most of. So, okay, for the center, let's see, what color did I base the center in? I used the moon yellow, a little bit of bright yellow, and cool white. Now you can use snow white if you don't have cool white. Cool white has just a little bit of a blue tone to it. It just gives a different kind of tone to the whole thing. I want this to be light. Oh, way too much water in my brush there. I want it to be just this really soft yellow color. Heart to hand, heart to hand. Well, hello, heart to hand. Glad you could join us. Another from Texas. Hot Texas. Although I feel like everywhere is hot right now. Doesn't matter where you go. All right, we got some good coats on here. I'm going to lift my palette thing up here, my table up, so we can get a better view of it. All right. So now we're going to take I'm going to go back to my bigger brush here. We're going to take our primary red and cad orange and start creating a little bit more red on our strawberries. So now there's two ways that you can do this next step. If you're a fast enough painter, you can work wet into wet. So you can lay some cad orange up here and some primary red down here and help them to kind of meet right about in this area right here. So it's going to be mostly red down here with some orange up here. Or you can just double load it, double load your brush with quite a bit of paint. And I'm going to start down here on the bottom with the primary red at the bottom. And just work those two colors together as I come to the top. We want it to be lighter at the top. And don't worry about getting in the background. It's a solid color. We can go back and touch up whenever we do that. Alright, we're going to do the same over here. We're going to keep the darker color more to the what I'm calling the bottom of the strawberry. So I'm already thinking about what I want to do for my next live, because I like to have those planned out ahead. I was going to paint a floral, but I was thinking I might do something with polymer clay. So, and show you how I use that and how you can use it in your artwork. You could, you know, to create a little bit of dimension in your project. So give me some feedback on what you think you might want to do. Hi, Kitty. It's good to have you here. I'm going to switch to a small brush to do this one down here. And I'm just going to go right in here where I have both the colors. I think I have a little bit too much water on my brush. And I want to keep the primary red towards the outside edge. And we can keep the cadmium orange a little bit more towards that inside edge. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining. All right, I'm just going to bring this color all the way around. So I think I'm going to round that edge out right there. Right here, I want it to be a little bit more rounded, coming around that strawberry there. Have it more kind of almost heart-shaped, I think. And I'm going to touch up right here with my yellow. Okay. We're going to wash in some colors here. I used, hi Kim, thanks for joining. I used moon yellow and white is what I wrote on my instructions. Just probably mostly white, not as much yellow, a little bit darker than what we put in the middle of our open strawberry. Now I'm going to put some water in here and thin this down a little bit. So I'm just going to go on here and create some areas where eventually there'll be seeds. If you need to put your line in there to separate those, go ahead and do that so you know how far to come down, so you don't go over, you know, any areas that you want to go over. So this is really a super sheer wash of color, and you're just going to maybe a little bit thinner than that, add a little bit more water. We're just going to create some places on here. Now this will all get covered up. This will all get washed over with layers of red. So you'll end up not seeing hardly any of this once we're done. But just put some areas in here where eventually we'll put some seeds. That's all we're doing. These areas will be bigger than what the actual seeds will be. The seeds will be tiny. So these areas can be a little bit bigger, and I'm just using a wash of color. So it will kind of stay there, but when we go and wash over it with many other colors and layers, it will push into the background. So this is just placement of seeds. Kind of stagger your seeds, or where your seeds will be on your strawberries. Don says, I love polymer clay. Right now I'm making epoxy resin tumblers. Oh, never done that. Do you have to be in a well-ventilated area to use resin? I don't know if it's very toxic. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on doing some a video on how I do polymer clay for my projects. If not, if I don't get any interest in that, then I'll just do my floral painting that I had planned. And we'll go over here on this half and put some on here. Try to make sure they're not like, see, this is almost too much in a row. You want it to be a little bit more irregular and variegated, not a row. So don't do it like I did it. I'm telling you right now, you won't like it. So, oh, Dawn, yes, you have to be in a well-ventilated area. Okay. Well, that sounds like something very interesting. I've never tried to work with epoxy resin on tumblers or anything like that before. So, you think it would be interesting, Anita, to work with polymer clay? Yeah. I'll show you at the end some that I've put in one of my projects, and you know, give you an idea of what you might want to do. Okay, so I'm gonna stick with this might be the same size brush, I don't know. Yeah, it is. Okay, we're gonna go with some cad orange wash here real quick. The same little brush. And I think I'll mix a little bit of the red in with it. We just want to wash some of this on here. I'm going to right now kind of go around my dot things that I put in there, so I'm just kind of scumbling it and scooting it. If I get some on there, not a big deal. I'm not gonna worry about it. I mean, a lot of these need to push back into the strawberry a little bit, but I just want to start a little bit of lighter color before, or not lighter color, a little bit deeper color before we start with the seeds and all the stuff that go with that. So I've just got cad orange and primary red mixed here, and just, it's very wet paint, so that gives me the ability to move it around this piece very easily, very quickly, and it's just like giving a glaze of color on here. Not a lot of paint. It's just going to slightly darken the areas that we painted, so it's going to start intensifying them just a little bit. I want to take some of the bright yellow and kind of thin it down a little washy, and put some of this up here. This is a very transparent yellow. This is going to help us start creating lighter areas within our strawberry. Get a little bit more thin down here. Jody said she's never used polymer clay. Always cool to see something different. And Dawn, I've made polymer tile clay frames in miniature. Oh, wow. That's really cool. I've never done a polymer tile clay frame. Now I have to dig all my polymer clay stuff out. But it will be nice to do it again, yes. It's always good to get some of those things that we haven't used in a while out and, you know, play around with them and just have fun. Okay, that's the yellow. I'm going to go back in with just the primary red at the bottom before we add our seeds. And just put some of this around. Again, I'm not trying to get it on my spots that I put on there, but if I do, not an issue. They will have red on them soon, so. And I'm only doing it this way because I do want to keep those areas a little bit brighter before I add my seeds on there. And then start adding our darker values. And this is just the primary red or Santa red, whatever red that you are using for your strawberries. Okay, so now we can do some little seeds on here. And let's see. I wrote out my instructions, so I'm going to... Oh, let's see. Well, actually, before I put the seeds on there, I said I washed a little bit of Tuscan red on there. Let me get my Tuscan red out. Now, Tuscan red is a pretty vibrant red. I really like it. It's definitely going to change the color of these strawberries a little bit because it's such a bright red. So I think I'll stick with my round brush and make a wash of it because I don't want to go over those seed areas just yet. So we'll put some of this on. Ooh, see how bright that is? Nice. Now we're getting that strawberry color in there. And doing it like this is also going to give your strawberry a little bit of texture. So it actually looks like a strawberry and not just a smooth painting. A little bit more water in there. And I'm going to take it up to about here. Just going to tap that edge with my finger, kind of let that settle in. A little bit more up here. I do need it a little darker up here where our leaves will be. So now we'll go over here to this one. Hello, Heidi. Oh, it's okay that you're late. It'll be here if you need to go back to the beginning. It will be here on my YouTube channel forever. So you can get caught up. I hope y'all are going to paint some fruit because I love to see when people paint fruit. Might zoom in just a tiny bit. I have a terrible tendency to get you off camera when I zoom in too close. So I'm just doing a little scrubbing, wiggling kind of, and I'm only going to take that up to about there. Tuscan red is such a pretty color. And I'll go out here along this edge, a little bit out here, and down here. Okay, why not let that dry just a little bit? So let's do a little bit of color on our side, half of one. Can't talk. Oh, hello Sylvie from Illinois. Thanks so much for joining. We are going to use primary red. Now this is where whatever red you're using, feel free to use that particular color. Okay, first thing I want to do is do a little float around the entire center. And let me see if I got a mop brush handy. Kind of mop that just a little bit. Having it choppy is not a big deal for the inside of a strawberry, so you know, you can leave that choppy. I've got a little bit of a hard line here, so I'm going to dampen that and lightly mop that. Now in the center of the strawberry, it's kind of cut out, not cut out. It's like it has an indent, almost where seeds would be. But there's no seeds in a strawberry. So you have an area that kind of opens up here. I don't want to draw it on too incredibly dark. And comes up through the center, kind of like that. I left my line drawing downstairs. I made a copy of it, but I can't find the copy for anything, so I can't even show you the copy of it because I don't know what I did with it. So, you know, I'm just going to go with what I've got here, and hopefully you can understand where I'm going. So we're going to take that primary red again. I want this to be kind of sheer, so I've got a little water in my brush. I'm working that in with my brush to make it a little soft color. Too much paint. Grab some water. I don't want it to be quite so bright so quick. Get that hard line off of there. Get the red off my finger. And that's kind of making it look like it should have a pit in it, and I don't want it to look like it has a pit in it. And we're going to put some down in here. And we're going to lighten all that up pretty soon. But I'm going to take my 8, is that an 8? 8. This is my 8 chisel blender. And I'm going to load up some primary red. And we have these lines that come into the center here. They're a little bit fatter back here, and then they get smaller as they go. So I'm just going to give it a little wiggle and create some little lines that come in from the edge. And use the water side of my brush to kind of smooth that off and taper it out a little bit. I'm making them pretty light. I'll come back and darken them later. So I've just got paint on one corner and just bringing that in. I'll start up here. It's a little bit wider where it comes to the edge of the strawberry, and bring it in and make it smaller, so you'll get smaller as you go in. Paint. More water. Water on your palette. Key. Something I highly recommend that you always do. So you have nice clean water right there. Okay, that's good enough to get the center started. It's still got a lot of work to do on it, but we'll just leave that for now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put my seeds in. I'm not sure this was the next instruction because I've skipped over some instructions and I don't know where my seeds went in. So when you're making your seeds, we don't want them to be big. We're going to keep them, I mean, they are tiny little dots of black on here, just little tiny dots. They are not going to fill that whole area where we put that light color. So don't make it fill that area. That area is bigger than what the seed will actually be. So use a detail liner, something that you can get a small little dot with, and come in and put all these little seeds on your strawberry. Right there, my thing got covered up completely, but that's okay. I can still put a dot there. It doesn't, I don't have to have one of those spots. So if you see a place where you definitely need a seed, even if you don't have one of those little spots that you created, put a seed there. I've got quite a few that got covered up a little bit. Make sure you go out to the edges. You want it to look like those seeds are going all the way around your strawberry. That one was kind of big right there, that first one I put down. It's a big little seed. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've had some really good strawberries this year. I mean, not any that I've grown, but strawberries that I have purchased. And they've been really good this year. I've been very pleased with how well they tasted, and just delicious, delicious strawberries. I think I need one right here. Okay, how we doing? Is there anybody painting along today? Or are you just going to paint later? I really should have got my detail liner out for this. Some seeds on here. Maybe we can see a couple over here. Okay, we're coming right along with this project. Doing really good. Okay, so now it's time to really red up those strawberries. So we're going to do Tuscan red and work it pretty much all the way across our strawberry. I'm going to side load so that as I come up the strawberry, I will be laying in less paint. This is called walking out afloat, because I still want that side to be lighter, but I want my strawberry to look red. So, got a really wet spot there. Get that off. So I'm going to start down here. We're going right over everything. And we're going to begin walking this up. And as I move up the strawberry, I'll have less and less red on my brush, so that I won't cover up all that orangey spot there. Wipe off my, grab more water. To me, on the video feed, it still looks very orange, but it's not orange, so hopefully with our next couple of layers, it will start translating a little bit more red for you. All the way up. And I'm going to go ahead and use this big ginormous brush on this half a one. Okay, let's see what my instructions say. It says to add some alizarin crimson on there now. I'm going to have to dry my strawberries. So grab your hair dryer or your heat tool. Put some alizarin crimson out. Want to make sure they're dry so that you don't remove the color you just put on there. Okay, we're going to go with just straight alizarin crimson here. And this is a very transparent color. So it's just going to be like an added color here on this first layer because we're going to have to mix some black to it to, I'm going to bring that all the way up into my highlight area. We'll have to add black to it to create our dark value on here. So this is like starting our darker value, but it's still not a big jump from our base color. Alright, I'm going to take that all the way. I'm just side loading because I want to you know, walk it out, keep the heavier of the paint on the bottom edge of the strawberries and the lighter color as we get to the light side of the strawberry. And you can make your highlight anywhere you want it. You want your highlight coming across here, so you'd have highlight here and highlight here. Totally up to you. Mix it up. Make it your own. Have fun with it. They look delicious. Thank you, Anita. I think they're looking pretty good. Pretty good. So I want to go back over here and work on this this one here. Where's my there it is. I was looking for my primary red. I couldn't find it. I'm going to take my primary red, a little bit more paint this time, because the first time we're just kind of laying in that color. And I'm just going to pat it around this center here. I'm going to put some down in the center. We definitely want it darker down in here. I'm just wiggling that in with the toe of my brush, just giving it almost like a little scrub in there. I'm going to put a little bit more out here. I need some water on my brush. Oop, went to the wrong color. Primary red. Or Santa red, whatever red you're using if you don't have primary red. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, here we go. I think when we lay in some of our light color in here, that's going to help a lot. Okay, I think I'll take my round brush this time because I want those lines that are coming in a little bit more pronounced. I think it's trying to see where I put them all. I can't really tell. Kind of washed some color over those, so I can't really tell where they come from. Oops. Just a little wiggle, like you're making a little tornado down to that center. Let's put one up here. That will help it. We still got light colors to put on there and a little bit more darker stuff to put around that edge. But I'll leave it for now to dry. And we're going to go back up here to our strawberries. So we want to darken this lower edge. Now on this one, I made this a lost edge. Over here you can't see my edge, but on this one is a lost edge as well. But I also made all of these shadow areas here lost edges because the shadow is so dark coming up onto them that you completely lose the edge of them, and that's what gives them that really cool look. So we did lost edges on all of this stuff. And we'll start by creating that darker value on the strawberry itself. So we're going to take our Tuscan red, or our alizarin crimson I mean, and a little bit of black. Now remember, when you add black, you have to really sneak up on that color. Don't let it get, I mean, we want to eventually be close to pure black, but we don't want to get there all at once. And see, I need way more paint on my brush here. And we're going to start darkening up this edge of our strawberry. I'm going to mop that, kind of settle it down in there. You guys know how to clean your mop brushes. Clean it off on a damp place on your paper towel. Then you dry it on a dry spot. Use it dry. Alright, I'm going to mix up a lot more. Ooh, that's a chunk of something in there. A lot more of this, so that I can go farther with it. And we'll come over here and do this one. I'm going to walk that out a little bit, and then I'm going to mop it. Very, very, very choppy. Very light mopping. I picked up a lot of paint on my mop brush, so I'm going to clean it off, dry it off, and go right back here and very lightly mop and finish blending. You have to do that while that paint is pretty wet. If you wait too long, then it's just going to dry right on your surface. So mopping is something your paint needs to be wet, and you have to move quickly if you're really wanting to get that mopped out of there and softened. Alright, a little bit on that lower edge there. We are going to be repeating all of that. I'm going to take some of this, what color do I have? Tuscan red. I'll get my colors right here in a minute. Okay, I want to put a little bit of this back in the center, brighten up my strawberries. I'm going to mop it where it comes into that darker color we just put on. I wish it didn't look so orange for you on the camera, because this is a really bright red. Does it look orange for you guys? On my screen it looks orange. I mean, my strawberries still look very orange, but they are very bright red now. So let me know how it's translating for you. Could just be my computer monitor is not right. So let me know how they're looking for you. I'm going to put a little bit of this over here. I'm kind of keeping that in the middle, in between the dark and the light. We're going to have to repeat that dark again, because it definitely needs to be darker, but let's go add a little bit of light onto our light edge of our strawberries. Let me clean my mop brush here. All that red out of it, in case I want to use it. Okay, so I'm going to take my bright yellow, find a spot I can mix this so you can see it, and some of my cad orange. Make a bright color here. A little bit more yellow than orange, so it will stand on top of that highlight that we've already got there. bright yellow is a transparent color. So we're going to put this in here. We're going to come back and float right along this edge later. But this is just getting a little bit, establishing a little bit more the light side. Whoop. I tapped that with my finger and took off a little bit more paint than what I wanted to take off. Let's see. For Dale, they look orange. Some areas red, need cream and sugar. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, they could use that. That's for sure. All right, I'm gonna wash some more red over these to try and get them to appear a little bit more red for you. They're pretty red for me, but I can put more over them. So I'm gonna do that. Primary red left in my so I'm going to take my Tuscan red, which is extremely bright red, and my primary red, it's a little bit more opaque, and see if I can get these a little more red for you, because I don't want you thinking they're orange strawberries, because they're not. And I went right over that highlight. I hope it was dry. Should have checked that, because that one's not dry. Primary and Tuscan. I'm just mixing them together and going over. Still look orange to me, but I mean orange on the screen, not orange in front of me. Alright, I'm going to take some of the alizarin crimson and just side load it onto my brush and add some of that in here. Some more blue red. And we'll come back and add our shadow back in there. They're still not looking red on the camera to me, but I mean on this computer screen they're not looking red. But they are red in front of me. Alright, we'll just keep moving on. I do have a couple more washes to put on here, so maybe that will, our final washes will be the determining factor. But I do want to put this color on while it's still on my brush. Let me bring my sample one. Do these look red on my original painting? Do they look red or do they look orange to you? Because on the camera shot they look like they're orange right through here, but they're red. They look, and of course the highlights are going to look kind of orange, but I mean the strawberry part right here. Does that look orange or does that look red to you guys? Let me know what you're seeing on your end. Anita says they look red. Okay. Well, hopefully we can get to that red there. Okay. I'm going to add another shading around the outside of this one on the inside. I'm going to use that Tuscan red this time. Oh, too much paint. I need more water. And just darken this a little bit before we come in with some highlights and change that. I really wish I'd have brought my drawing up for my strawberry. It looked so much better in the center than when I painted it, so you could see what the center needed to look more like. Okay, so I've got to add my yellow stuff back on here. I'm just going to add the bright yellow back along this edge for our highlight. And a little bit more water. Maybe when we add our white highlight, that will make that red pop out a little bit more. I mean, they're very red in front of me. I wish that it translated a little bit better for you guys. Okay, this is just the bright yellow here. Creating a little bit of a bright place that we can play around with. Now we're going to want a little bit of a reflective light on here, on this one especially. So I'm going to take that yellow and orange and put it over here. Just a little little light bouncing back on the strawberry there. When we add some more red on there, that will push that back into the painting a little bit more. So let's come over here with our dark color, which is black and alizarin crimson. You could use cranberry wine if you have cranberry wine. This is just a really dark, rich color, and it's probably just looking black on the camera for you because none of the colors are showing true. So let me mop that. And that's a little bit too hard of a line right there, so I'm going to dampen and mop it out. Kind of break that up a little bit. We've got color that we have to put back through the center there. So I'm just taking extra steps with this that you probably wouldn't need because it's going to be in front of you, so it's going to be, the color is going to look right for you. So a lot of these steps where I added extra steps for red and stuff, you won't necessarily have to do that unless yours is still looking orange. Okay, let me mop that. Dry my brush off. Okay, a little bit down here. That's the alizarin crimson and a little bit of black. I need some water. I want some of this right through here. Our leaves are going to be there, so we won't see a ton of that, but okay. I'm going to go put a little bit, when I did my original one, I came back with just the primary red through this area right here. So I'm going to put that in, and then we're going to add our bright highlights on here. I think that will help a lot. So I'm just going to make a little wash of this color of the primary red and put it through here. So now they're looking more red to me. They're looking more red to me. So hopefully they're looking red to you. Okay, so I just kind of patted that in there. Mop it out. You need some of this back here. Okay. I will do our bright highlights on here, and I think that will help a lot. So I'm going to first float along the edge with a little bit of the yellow, just to establish a little bit more of a, and this yellow is transparent, so you know it's not going to do a lot, and that's why I like it, because it's not going to take over. But it is going to give a little bit of brightness on there, which is what we need. All right, let's start in with our, I got to get a new paper towel because I need to clean my mop brush, and all my wet places were just dirty. So now it's looking a lot redder to me, much better. Let's take our little round brush that I used to like squiggle stuff in, and we're going to do that with some white paint. You could use cool white as well. So I'm going to put some fresh white out. And thin it down with some clean water so you're not tinting the paint. Remove a little bit off. And a little bit more clean water. Always use clean water. Still have too much paint. This is going to be a pretty sheer wash because we want this to fade down in there, and we're going to go around our seed things. And just stay in the area that you want to have the brightest highlight in. And let it kind of fade away. Go work on this one while that one dries. And just bring it to wherever you think it's going to have the light hitting it. This one needs a little bit more coming down to here. It is simply just a little wiggle and kind of scrub with your brush, although I'm not really scrubbing, and it's very, very thin paint, so that's going to make it very transparent. So it's going to fade into, you know, into the surface and not stand on top. Now see right there, I didn't have enough water, so it's standing a little bit more on top, but that's okay. We're going to come back and add some brighter little highlights on there. While that dries, let's go ahead and put a little bright dot on some of our seeds. You don't want to do them all, but you want a little shine on, especially the ones that are in the more highlighted area. And I've almost completely washed away all of my color that went behind the seeds because I put extra layers on mine. So if you don't put as many layers on as I did, you'll still retain all those little areas that are kind of behind the seeds. But I needed it to get more red for you, and so I put a little bit more layers on. Okay, I think that helped a lot. I'll put a few over here, the ones that are closest to the edge. Use a tiny detail brush if you need to for this. I'm still just using that 2 round that I was using. So if your line here is too strict, you want it to fade away a little bit more. This paint has not cured yet, so you can remove some of that by simply dampening it and gently rubbing it and kind of soften it down in there. Okay, I want to do the outer edge with the bright highlight there. A little bit of white. Give the strawberry its a little shine here. Tiniest bit of paint on my brush. I mean, just such a small amount. Such a small amount. And just very lightly skimming it over. Okay, right here. Kind of bugs me. I'm gonna have to touch up my background here. Which is okay. Oh, let me put a little bit on this one. Just a little bit. Just lightly let it go over. And while I have this white, I'm going to go in here and put a little bit in between here. Just tap some in, tap it with my finger. Don't be afraid to use those fingers. A little bit more. White is going to fade down in there, so you know it's going to look bright when you first put it on, but it is not going to stay bright. So we'll put a little bit of this next to our little squiggle lines. Still just a tiny bit of paint on the tip of this brush. Some of this in the center. Ooh, or a lot in the center. And then there's a little bit out here. For our strawberry, and come back and repeat any of this white that you need to. And I'm also going to put just a few little lines in here, just with the tip of my brush, but use a detail liner if you need to. I don't think my original one I did this on, but I think it needs it. So you be the judge. It's yours. So okay. Let's see if I need to darken anywhere. Just right there on the tip of that strawberry. I need a little bit more of that dark right here. When we put our shadow underneath, we'll blend all that in. So now we can add our leaves on here. So you can put your pattern on and trace them on if you want. I am just going to draw them in how I kind of see them on my other one. You can make them any way that you want. And these probably aren't exactly like they are on my original one, but we just see a little bit of leaves on these. I think they're looking more red now, so that's good. I don't want to put any more layers on there because I lost so much of that back behind the seed areas. So I'm just going to leave them where they're at. I'm going to go with my one of my small round brushes and paint them in with the leaf green. Shading and highlighting on them So you'll need a smaller brush for shading and highlighting on these. A 1/4 inch angle brush would work good, or a small chisel brush. 4 would probably be good. I did not pull out my 1/4 inch angle brush because I'm not really sure exactly where it's at. Oh wait, there it is. So this should go pretty quickly. These are not very big. They do not require a lot of detail. Okay. You can put a second coat on if you need a second coat. I'm going to dry down. Not quite dry. I want to erase those lines that I drew on there. What kind of pencil am I using? I'm using, this is a dressmaker's pencil. I do sell these on my website. I think I still have some like this one as well. This one's my favorite one because it comes with 3 different colors of lead, so I can change out the color that I need when I'm, depending on what, you know, I'm drawing on. This one just comes with white. And it's just a dressmaker's pencil. It's got ceramic lead in it, but it disappears with paint or water. It doesn't set into your project like normal charcoal chalk type pencils do. Oh, that wasn't dry. So I don't know if you can see, I smeared my ink right there, or my paint right there, so I'm going to dampen this eraser. This is just a white plastic eraser, and I do have these on my website as well. And I'm going to erase where I smeared that paint. You can only do this when the paint is still pretty new. If the paint has cured, it's sat on there for days, you can't do it, so don't even try. But if you're painting and you know you've been painting for about 10 or 15 minutes and you realize, oh, there's a mistake there, you can still erase it. The key, though, to using it is a little bit of water, the very softest of pressure, so that you're just removing a light layer of paint. You rub really hard, you're going to go all the way down to the bare surface. So just a little gentle rubbing will remove a layer of paint. If you have to do it 2 or 3 times, that's fine, but just a very gentle rubbing with some water. You have to have water to do it. So that is a very important tip, if you haven't heard me say that already in many of my videos. So again, you can, if you need to tell where your leaves are going, then you can draw some lines in here. So you can make like whatever leaf is in front, what's in back. Like this one comes in front of that one, it comes over that one, but this one's over this one, and it's over that one. So this is how you tell where you're going to be shading. So we're going to get some Hauser dark green out to shade them. I think I got out all my bottles that were almost empty. I couldn't have gotten a full one out. No, I had to get the ones that were like almost empty. Okay, so I did get my 1/4 inch angle out, and like I said, a 4 chisel would work just fine. You do not want to have a ton of water in your brush. You only want your brush woke up, but get all the excess water out, because you're painting in a small area. You don't want that water to thin your paint. You want it to stay pretty pigmented. Water will lighten it. That way you can really tell where you're going. So I'm just going at the base of these leaves and seeing which one is on top, which one's in front of another one. So I'm just going to darken the edge of this one over here. Make the other edge a light edge. tell which one is on top, which one's behind. That's a funny looking leaf there. Didn't paint that one in very well. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for stopping by, girl. I appreciate you so much. Amazing lady right there. If you guys don't know Sandy McTeer, you need to check her out. Her website, Sandy McTeer Designs, and check her out on Facebook. She is amazing teacher, person, friend. I love her to pieces. Love her to pieces. Just an awesome friend. Okay, so let's erase those lines. We should be able to tell exactly where our leaves are now, and we can start highlighting on them. So I'm going to highlight with some mistletoe, and then we'll adjust a little bit brighter highlight and deepen our shading if we need to. So let's just highlight on our tips. Make sure you can see that highlight. This is just our first one. We'll add a little bit brighter highlight on here. Again, just using that 1/4 inch angle brush, no extra water in your brush, because this small areas we need to keep our paint as strong as possible, but you're still just side loading. And just make sure that you can tell which leaf is in front, which one's on top. So you can establish that even more with a highlight, like right along the edge of a leaf. So this one actually needs to come down and be a little bit more in front of everything there. So a lot of times you can just look at it and it's like, oh, that leaf, I think that leaf needs to be in front, or something, that leaf needs something. So, oh my gosh, they look juicy. And Sandy, talk Lonna out of giving up on her teaching, please. I'm not giving up on my teaching. I did do a live coffee and chat this morning, so watch that if you need to. I never planned to give up on my teaching. I'm still going to teach, still going to do packets, still do all that stuff. It was just the business part. I needed to do something. And, you know, I talked to a lot of people and a lot of other business people and designers and stuff, and they gave me some tips on things that I could do. So I'm going to be incorporating some of that probably at the end of the year. So I gotta work out a game plan, but I'm gonna be here. I'm not going anywhere. I promise, I'm not going anywhere. So let's take our bright yellow and brighten our highlights. Ooh, that looks good. I like that bright yellow on there. You could also use citron green, but you could take your mistletoe and your bright yellow and make a color that's very close to citron green. So, you know, if you don't have that color and you want to use it, you can mix something really, really close to it. And DecoArt does have on their website their shading and highlighting chart and their mixing of colors if you want to mix colors. So I want to darken just in the center of the leaves a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit of black and a little bit of Hauser dark green, and we'll mix that up and darken, get a little bit darker areas in here. Define those really deep areas just a little bit more. Just a tiny little bit of paint, that's all you need. I really feel like the highlight on the leaves could be brighter, so I'm going to do white and yellow mixed together and a little bit brighter. Highlight, I liked the yellow, so I may come back and wash over this highlight with the yellow so that those highlights really popping. Because the yellow's transparent, but I really want those highlights to pop out more. Oh yeah, that looks good. So much better. And so the last thing we're going to do is shade underneath them to create those lost edges underneath our fruit here. So I'm going to grab a large brush. I've got a 12 flat, but you could use a 1/2 inch angle brush, any large brush that you have. And we're going to side load with some black. I want to have a little bit of water in my brush. I want that to be a little wet so I have time to play around with it and move it a little bit. So we're going to go right next to our strawberry. Put this up in here. We can bring it up onto our strawberries as well. That's going to help create that lost edge there. And we'll probably have to do it a couple of times. And get that black right where we want it to be. And we'll go underneath this one. I'm going to go up on it just a little bit. Come and mop that. Let me dry this one because it definitely needs to be darker back in through here. And then we're going to have to shade a little bit underneath the stems up there. So let me get a little bit more black on my brush here. Alright, I'm going to take my mop brush and mop that out. I need more water right through here. Can't mop dry paint, and that paint was already drying. So now we're getting a little bit more lost edges here. Bring that out just a little bit. And that was very, very wet, so I'm going to have to mop and dry my brush off and mop and dry my brush off because that had like a ton of water in there, like I just stuck it in my water basin. A little bit too much water. I don't want to take it over into there because my mop brush is so wet it will just start removing that paint that I put on there. Okay. Okay, I think the lost edges here look pretty good. Could be a little darker right through there. Put a little bit of paint in there. And very gently mop that because I don't want to remove it. Okay, so I do want to shade underneath my leaves here because they are, they need a little bit of shadow under them. So let's see if I said what I shaded them with. I said alizarin crimson and black, so not that much black. We're just creating a little dark shadow here. We still want it to be mostly red. So let's create a little shadow under our leaves here. A little bit of shadow under this one. And then we can put a little bit here because this is going to be really dark on this edge here. Okay, this edge could use just a tiny bit more bright highlight. So I'm just going to take a little white, put it along there. Don't like that one that I put down there. Made it too solid of a line. I want it more choppy. Okay, I think that might do this one. Let me move my palette cam off of here because I always like to compare and see how they look side by side. See if I even got remotely close to my original, which I probably did not. Okay, I'll have to wide angle out here. So pretty close. I think the highlights over here are a little bit brighter, so I'd probably, because when I did that wiggle around there, it really faded back into the background. So I could just take my white, thin it down with some water, and brighten that up just a little bit. Don't have to do it all, just a few places. Same over here, just a little wiggle and jiggle with the brush. It's barely skimming across that surface, so don't, plus I need to touch up my background with some black, so, you know, you can do that as well. Touch up any areas where you got out of line, and I did in several places, but we'll just touch up a couple here. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. Very happy with how it turned out. They look a little close. I like this one better because I like how much brighter it is in the center. But they both look good. I think so. I'm going to show you a little bit of an idea of some polymer clay because that's what I'm thinking about doing for the next one. I have polymer clay on some of my art pieces, but they're hanging up. This one was hanging up, but I was able to get it down. So I used polymer clay for my butterflies and my leaves. So you can see a butterfly here, and I'll show you how I make my butterflies where their wings are folded up a little bit. And then these leaves are all polymer clay. The raised grapes, I don't know if you can tell, the raised grapes are quickwood. But I thought I might show you how I use polymer clay, how I cut it, how I work with it, and all that stuff on my next live, so that if you wanted to play around with some polymer clay and put it in your project, you could. It's really fun to add some dimension in there. I might sometime do a quickwood one as well. These are all quickwood. They're foam, but they have quickwood on the outside of them, you know, and I created the texture in the cake and everything. And so I could do a quickwood project. If you want to do quickwood, you probably have seen these. I did these a couple of years ago. I did some blueberry pie. They're now my grandkids' toys. I had them for decoration for my booth at Palooza one year. But they all are foam, so they're very light. And then I did some little cookies and strawberries and stuff. So, you know, you can have so much fun with quickwood. Start out with a little bit of foam and have an idea, and there you go. You've created a whole meal out of quickwood and foam. So you let me know if you want to do quickwood. I'll plan something for quickwood. But for now, I'm thinking about the next one. I want to do the polymer clay and show you the tools that I use to make stuff like this for my projects. I think it will be a fun one, something different. I still painted them, you know, because my leaves in here they're painted. And, you know, I turned up some edges on some of them, and my butterflies are painted with glamour dust, my favorite product. Of course, that was before they had the iridescent stuff, so now I'm going to have to make some butterflies with some of that iridescent stuff. So the iridescent paint. So that is it for me today. Kathy would like to learn how to do the cake and pie pieces. Okay, well I can definitely do a Quickwood live sometime and show you how to use Quickwood. It's a very easy product to use. So I think that you'll have fun creating some stuff with that as well. Thank you, Gwen. That was a fun piece to create. I had a lot of fun doing that. And thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Kim. Had a great time painting with you guys today. I hope you guys are going to paint. Go grab your free line drawing for these strawberries and give them a try. I think you'll be surprised. You won't have to do as many steps with the red as that I did. Just remember that, because it just was not translating on the camera as red as it should. But you know, they're both together now and they both look red. So see, they're both red, although you know it did look orange for a long time, but we got there. We got there. So thank you so much. What is Quickwood? Quickwood is an epoxy, and you can use it to work on wood projects. I mean, it's a great filler for wood projects because it's sandable and paintable. But that's what I used on here for my grapes. So I just created another layer of dimension. Oh my gosh, look how dusty that is. You guys get to see how dusty my studio is. But it's just an epoxy that you mix with your hands, and then you work it into whatever you want to form it into. It has a limited open time, so you have to work with it, know what you're going to be doing and how you want to use it so that it doesn't start getting hard before you get through your entire project. So, but it's fun to work with as well. So thank you, Sylvie. Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate you guys all being here today. So if there's not any more questions, I think that will probably do it for me, you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it. This one took a little, well, not quite as long as I thought it would take. I thought it would take about 2 hours, but it only took about an hour and a half, so that's good. That's good. It probably would have taken a little less time if I hadn't had to put so many layers of red on there, but you know, those things happen and you just got to work it out and go with the flow. So oh, thank you, Jody. I'm glad you had a great time spending the afternoon with me. I have thought about changing the time of my lives to a different day or time. I'm still not sure if I'll do that. I'll probably, for a while, at least till the end of the year, maybe keep them on Wednesdays around 1 o'clock. But I was thinking about moving to a Saturday morning for lives. So if you got any thought on that, give me a little opinion there, because I always want to do what's going to work best for you guys. So that is going to be it for me. Thank you, Gwen and Jody and Brenda and Sylvie and Anita and Kim. I appreciate you guys being here, and Jackie and Kathy. Oh my gosh, and Kitty, you guys, Anita. I tell you what, Brenda, I appreciate you guys so much. I can't do this without you, and so you guys are just amazing. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next one, which will be polymer clay, probably next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.